So, technology, remember technological advances and developments in the world. And of course, a lot of people are for it, a lot of people are against it. Cons and pros, for and against, advantages and disadvantages, merits and demerits, pluses and minuses, do's and don'ts,
Upsides and downsides.
upsides and downsides, benefits and drawbacks. So we talked about some pluses, the positive points, the advantages, and I told you and I remind you again, every time you're given a comparison, it's always, okay, there's something called concession, remember? You should say, well, both have their advantages and disadvantages. Yeah, please don't forget this thing. So both have their advantages and disadvantages. But personally, but for me, however, for me, the advantages, for example, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Does outweigh. But for me, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Am I loud enough to stop your dreams? To cut off whatever you're doing in there? The advantages outweigh the disadvantages. The advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Right? Outweigh, outnumber, outsmart, out. There's no way you can outsmart me, smart ass. Smarty. Smart aleck. Okay. So we're done with this part. Now, yesterday we talked about technology and, well, ouch. We talked about the advantages. Okay. What were the advantages? One day you'll go grow up and you'll watch this video. I'll say, wow. Okay. What were the advantages discussed yesterday?
Raise life expectancy.
Amazing. We had some really good ones. Thank you for remembering. So, technology has helped. First of all, technology has made everything easier, faster, more accessible, more convenient, more efficient, has raised the life expectancy of the human beings generally, has made everything more comfortable and convenient. Technology has helped us in all fields, from agriculture to the heating system inside our homes, to the basic things that come to mind when we think about technology would be computers, cell phones, telecommunications, the telecommunication devices, media, from television to receiver to personal gadgets to personal digital assistants to even the auto industry, the car we drive, and the high-tech. Even homes right now are technologically advanced. High-tech homes we have. You go sit down, smart homes. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? But there are some people who believe the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. Namely, Kirk, Jackson, and George. So, we have some people who are dead set against technology. Technology is crap. So, or basically has brought us lots of misery. wreaked havoc upon the civilizations, has made us so averse to other human beings, and has made machines out of human beings. They have their own arguments. Now, on both sides, on the one hand, we have technophiles, which is like technophilia, like pedophiles, whatever files. So whatever philia means you love something. Necrophilia, you love the dead people, you make love to the dead people, right? If you're in necrophilia. So the Anglophiles like England. Anglophobes hate England. Yeah? We have some things are only phobia, like arachnophobia. You hate spiders, but there's no arachnophilia, right? Nobody loves spiders. Oh, I love spiders, you. So we have phobia and philia. So technophiles, if you say I'm a technophile, it's maybe a better word than gadget freak, right? I'm a gadget freak. Most guys are gadget freaks or technophiles. They love gadgets. They love gadgets. It would have been so great if this marker could just fly around and I would just tell it what to write and it would write. But it's happening right now because I already have my Siri or Siri, whatever, and I talk to it and it writes. It's just that this school cannot afford a smart board for me to stand here and direct. Especially when I have smart students, I need to have a smart board. I don't get it.
What type of?
I'm so sorry, but the things that go in my head, I was wondering about the smell or taste of that thing. What is that? Is that strawberry? Okay, I'm good. I was like...
Yeah, I just wanted to ask which type of type are you? Are you a technophile or a technophobe? I mean,
You are completely you're being completely irrelevant because I was talking about the strawberry.
Sorry, that was a little off topic.
Completely off topic and tangential. Why are you digressing from the main focus of the lesson? Which would be my lips. Now, yeah, what was it?
Yeah. I don't. I mean, what would be your main argument if there was Jackson and Kirk and George asking you, yeah, why do you favor technology if there is so much that speaks against it? Like, for example,
First of all, I would ask my class, like I'm going to do that, to lay out the disadvantages, and then we would put the advantages and disadvantages before the jury. And then I would kick their butts. So would the jury. I wouldn't waste my breath.
But like, what most people argue that don't like technology is that they usually refer to the cell phones and the smartphones. And
so if you talk to Jackson, I think I've already had that conversation.
no.
What is his defense? I will ask them to come over here and defend themselves. So we have technophobes, the people who are against technology and the new technology and gadgetry and all that, and technophiles will love it on both sides. Technocrat and technocracy is different. Like, you know, we have democracy, autocracy, aristocracy, whatever, rayocracy, but we have technocracy is government by technocrats. It basically means the technocrats are technically savvy. The people who know about technology, for example, engineers. Those people who go to school and learn a lot about technology, such as engineers, who study engineering courses, like computer scientists, and people like that. Or people who study certain things, and they are in charge of government, as opposed to people who just study law or politics or something. They don't know anything about the technical aspects of running a country. So technocracy is that. So if you hear technocracy and technocrats, government by technocrats would be that. So let me see. Just here, technocracy. Technocracy. Technocracy was the utilitarian governance when decision makers are selected on the basis of technological knowledge. Their knowledge has an impact political profile. So Basically, a technocratic government is a government, not just engineers, but those who have knowledge of what they do, not because they have political influence. Now, you see that in a normal government, politicians, usually this gentleman is in charge of the environmental agency, but has no knowledge of the environment. Because he was the president's friend, he's put in charge of that department. He's not a technocrat. Now, some people believe that technocracy is named here. That is, people should be technocrats. They should have the knowledge of what they do in the governments. So, basically, so if you hear technocrats and technocracy, like we have bureaucrats, bureaucracy, federal workers who sit just beside table, oh, we have to sign this. It's very important. My signature is very important. Come back on Tuesday. Now, we talked about the positive points yesterday. Let's talk about the negative points. What are the negative points? Let's talk about the technology, all the bad points. Okay? I'm ready for input. Saki,
Yeah.
what are the bad things? What are the demerits of technology? What are the disadvantages of technology?
People become addicted to the internet and so on.
So addiction. Addiction to technology or gadgetry. Is addiction necessarily a bad thing, Saki? If I'm addicted to studying, is that bad?
No.
Huh?
Addiction is always something bad. It is. You should always do everything.
But
in
Einstein was
moderation.
addicted to studying.
But
He was addicted to it. He couldn't live without it. He was so obsessed with it. You know, obsessed? People who are obsessed with technology, obsessed with. It's an obsession for them. They're obsessed with technology. They sit here, they're like, when is this new iPhone coming? And they're like, and they line up. At 4 a.m. the guy's at the door freezing to death, waiting for the next. No, it's usually September. People don't freeze to death, right? So it's usually September, and people are like, waiting for the iPhone. Or other gadgets, right? So PlayStation 4 is coming, 5, 6, let's go. Hmm?
Do you know what Einstein said about technology? Because there is a quote from him.
Yeah.
It said that that one day in which technology will surpass human interactions, the world will have a generation of idiots.
yeah.
That's what-
Wow,
that's
a
what
generation of idiots. I love that world.
I heard it.
Yeah. Which is actually which really came true if you consider that when you go in a pub, for example, and you see people on a table, all instead of communicating, they all sit there with their smartphones
That's true.
instead
Oh
of
my
keeping
God.
up a conversation, because it is easier to kind of
So you believe that addiction to technology has distanced people
yes and no.
from each other,
Actually not because
has disrupted
I think it's distant. It's like
human
from reality.
yeah.
interaction,
It
has stripped us of our human values.
no, actually not, because it has. I mean, it brings us the people closer that are far away, but it also
Yes.
but at the same moment it takes people far more away, which are actually directly next to you. Like where, for example, again when you're in a pub and I actually wanted to meet some friends, and you don't communicate.
When
with
I'm
them.
in a pub, this girl is so boring, I don't want to talk to her. I want to talk to someone else who's sitting there, maybe like in another country. Yeah? No? No?
So like you rely on something that not reality.
Reality? It's real. Someone
It's not
real
real.
is sitting at the
Something
other.
that's oh, it's not here, it's not practical.
Yeah.
If your phone die, what will you do? What would you do?
So virtual
You gonna die
reality,
with it?
virtual reality versus reality.
I mean, you can't marry that girl on a
Versus-
smartphone.
That's all the good. That's what makes it so good, right? Reality. In fact, I'll share a secret with you later. Which is this. After 20 years of strict experience of doing certain types of things that are unsavory and frowned upon by civil societies, I have some invaluable experiences to share regarding that. But
You have married online?
no, I'll talk about that in just a bit.
But
Off the record, for the yeah.
it's pretty crazy because I observed a couple they like sitting in front of each other and use phone to talk by phone.
Yeah.
Even though they sitting in front of each other, but they talk on Facebook. It's so crazy. I think it's
So it's kind of crazy. Some people say it's crazy, some people say it's spooky, some people say it's nasty, some people say it's all kinds of things, right? But basically, so it has, what has it done? You are saying that people are so, what? Obsessed with, or they are so immersed in, submerged in, they are living in a world of virtual reality. People are living in a world of virtual or cyber reality as opposed to the real world. So you mean that real interpersonal communication, so the real interpersonal communication has been replaced by or with what? Virtual communication. Okay, has this also, it has many remember adverse effects? Some people may argue that even using this technology has exceeded all reasonable limits. So much so that many car accidents are now caused by distraction due to use of cell phones while driving. So this obsession is so sick that right now causes accidents, right? Causes accidents. Causes separation of couples, right? Separation of couples or divorce at points, right? Has facilitated cheating. I'm not sure if it's an advantage or disadvantage. Has facilitated, depending which camp, cheating. Now, cheating could be sexual cheating or online cheating for economic purposes. Online theft, so identity theft. Yeah? Online theft and stealing. Cybercrime. Such as some predators, sexual predators, now equipped with internet, sexual predators. Who are they? Online predators. We call them online predators, seeking their victims using the internet. So the mother is in the kitchen cooking. The lovely daughter is in the room playing with her toys. The mother doesn't know that the kid, the 9-year-old or the 12-year-old or the 13-year-old teenager is speaking to a stranger who's a 30-year-old psycho who has one hand on the mouse and only one hand on the mouse. And speaking to the 13-year-old. So many of these cases happen. Or, so, you know, the online predators, those who seek a predator, remember, animals who seek their prey, seeking their victims. You know, victim, the victim of a crime. So if you rape somebody, the person who's raped is the victim of the rape. The rapist and the victim, the rape victim. Do we have online rape? No. But we have harassment. Okay, so I mentioned some negative aspects. What else can we add to this? So people are, usually in IELTS and TOEFL, they ask about the values, our social life, values such as friendship, love among people, actual real friendship, actual relationships, When there were no cell phones or even phones, people used to go meet each other, sit together and actually chat. But right now, people text each other. They don't even call each other. And what's the future of technology? That's another question. Now people text and sext and all that. What's going to happen in 20 years from now? Do you see a crazier future? Of course. Because we're coming up with fresh ideas. 30 years ago, many of the things that we have today would be perceived as impossible, right? Would be unimaginable. Many of the things that will happen 20 years down the line, 30 years down from now, are completely... Now we have smart TVs that react to our eyes, the movement of our eyes. We have smart video games that could react to our body movements. So what's happening down the line? So all of this, what other negative aspects do you find here?
People become realized on technology aid. On one hand, if they do have to increase productivity, working efficiency, but on the other hand, once the computers crash or something happen, or sometimes a hacker can attack a system and it's gonna be like big disruption.
So easier cyber crimes by hackers. They can enter systems and they can cause immense harm of innumerable proportions, or something that's not easy to be calculated.
And it it pushes and promotes total surveillance by people you don't want to be surveilled by.
That was good.
And
people replaced with machines, simply unemployment. Surveillance. This might be with E.
that's with an A.
Yeah, surveillance. So surveillance.
Have you read the novel by George Orwell?
Yeah, Espionage, 1984.
1984 or whatever.
Espionage. So.
All these surveillance.
Surveillance.
No, but in English.
Surveillance.
Surveillance. Yeah.
Surveillance.
Yeah, surveillance, right?
Why?
Because it has L, and you guys don't read something that is there. Yeah, I think the first French person who actually started the pronunciation thing was blind. And half blind at least. Didn't see half the letters that were written. And
Yeah.
pronounce, and it was a king or something because set the rule. That no, this word, I don't care. You see the L, I don't see it, so you don't read it that way. And this is
How can you read
surveillance.
surveillance?
Because the L exists here. We cannot deny the existence of it. It's like if I say, okay, K, Chris, and it's like I don't see you. You exist. You're sitting there. You don't accept the existence of double L here. You French people.
It's stupid because we have the same word and I'm not able to pronounce this in English.
Yes, it's stupid whoever didn't pronounce this at the beginning. But when you say souffle, you say souffle, right? You have an L, sometimes. Okay? Yeah. Survey. Yeah. So we have surveillance camera. Let's say, for example, instead of I love you, if I say I love you, does it sound good to you? I love you. No? It sounds good. It sounds good because I said it. But, so, yeah, surveillance, right? Yeah. Surveillance has become easier. The NSA, eavesdropping, huh? Eavesdropping. So the government to eavesdrop on someone, huh? To eavesdrop on someone. This is very huge now. Espionage. Espionage is the noun for spying. To spy. To spy on someone, right? And spy is a noun. Espionage. How do you say espionage?
Espionage.
Oh. Oh. It's like if there was an L here, you would still read it espionage because L is not pronounced. Yeah.
Yeah, we pronounce
You pronounce sometimes.
all the time.
All the time? So say surveillance, please, in French. The L is there. You write it. So, yeah. I love Russian spies. You know Russian spies? In the US, they find the Russian spies. They're usually pretty girls. They send them over to the US. And they're like, I love you. And then it's like, sleeping. That's 5 inches. And whatever. It's like, they send all the information, everything. So many things have been facilitated by technology, but it's not just the good things that have been facilitated. All the negative things have been facilitated as well, such as surveillance, especially when it comes to espionage and invasion of people's privacy. You know, invasion of privacy? Invasion means attacking, right? Invasion of privacy. So, snooping into people's personal lives. People's personal lives. The computers, it's basically happening every day, everywhere. Every app we download, every application we download, it asks for access to many of our personal and private information, or details of the things that they shouldn't have access to. But I like the app because I want to play Angry Birds. So I allow Angry Birds to have access to my contacts, to my girlfriends, to my wives? No. Boyfriends? To everything and everyone I've ever known. To Darby. So, much of this is commercial espionage, which is basically, you know, commercial espionage? Yeah? They want to steal the secrets, to steal the trade secrets, to steal the trade secrets of different companies. So the hackers are there, hackers and hacking. So there are certain hackers who are fine. They steal the identities, the certain codes, personal information and data. There are a lot of commercial espionage, different companies spying on each other, spying on each other, using computers, sending viruses or worms that would actually enter the systems and transmit the private information back to certain centers where the data is collected, retrieved and collected and stored and used for malignant purposes, malign purposes. So this is it. Any other argument? Some people say, oh, I don't like to have a cell phone because I don't want people bother me all the time, like send me all those messages. I don't want to receive all the spam. I don't want to get all those, I don't want the people to bother me when I'm home. Okay, switch your phone off with a voiceover.
But that's like, sorry.
No, you first. Because it's different.
Okay, I think this is not even possible anymore. Because when people don't want to have a cell phone or don't want to have a smartphone, it it also kind of conveys an image, the image that you are reluctant to communicate to communicate.
You have 3
with them.
teachers
That
in
you
this
don't
very
want-
same school who don't even possess a cell phone.
Yeah, but for example, in my when I'm with my friends, and there is we have one guy who is like Jackson or Kirk.
Refuses to have a cell phone?
Yeah, well, he does have a cell phone, but he has a very old one, and like we the rest of us, we all have smartphones and WhatsApp and Facebook and whatever, and he's always he's ostracizing himself by not having a smartphone because he's always not involved in those.
He doesn't look at it this way. He says, look, those pests, that Chris, that Jack, that Jix, yeah, you can't reach me. He's like, yeah, that's how he feels.
Yeah, but he's always not up to date with the newest information.
Now, he would call you guys idiots, like you're following some crap. That doesn't even matter.
No, he's
Yeah, I'm the one who's relaxed and sitting far away from all the hustle and bustle. That's the way people like that see the world. Many of them say, okay, why would I even need to know all this stuff that's garbage? Many of them would say this is garbage.
Or something.
Yeah.
In case of emergency? Yeah. Okay. So these are all the negative things? Did you think of any other negative aspects of technology?
There's one biggest thing I think. It's true that technology is helping us discover more and more aids for many aspects, like energy shortage. For example, we find an alternative energy like solar.
Okay.
Energy.
Alternative sources of energy?
But at the same time, technology also is also condemn human to the age of extinction because
Extinction, right?
because in terms of modern weapon.
Thank you. That's
I mean-
exactly what I was waiting to
I
hear.
mean, there are more sophisticated, advanced weapons that in the past we had only stone and stick. With those things, the casualty and injuries can be counted. But with nuclear weapons, for example, it's going to be disaster for mankind.
Okay, that was a very good point. So we have new generations of weapons. We don't just have new generations of vaccines or people working on treatment for cancer, but we have actually more people working on weapons and more money spent on research for making new weapons than it is spent on making new drugs or medicine. Because war is a more profitable business. So if you look at the world and the spending on weapons, you see it's crazy. The United States spends around $1 trillion on weapons. And if you look at the budget for education in the US, it's like this. So the budget for education would be here, and the budget for weapons would be here. Actually, internet was first discovered or invented, depending on how you look at it, by the Rand Corporation. So the basic elements of internet were done by the Rand Corporation, which was at the time a part of US Air Force. So the Rand Corporation had a huge fund, and part of that is beautiful because they say that the money that comes to us goes into research, and the research does good things like we created the internet. But how many people have been killed as a result of wars caused by, or actually fought by modern weapons? The modern warfare. A nuclear weapon today could wipe out a whole nation. One nuclear weapon. Because the nuclear weapons today are up to 500 times more powerful than the nuclear weapons back in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So if those killed 120,000 people, imagine what a nuclear weapon, which is 500 times more powerful, how many people is that capable of killing? Or new generations. Now we not only have new generations of cell phones, like the 4th generation of smartphones. We have the 4th generation of smart bombs that are so smart. The bomb is coming, like it's programmed to follow Chris. So it only follows Chris. No, it's not like that. The problem with that is they're not that smart. They kill so many innocent lives. So that's one good and negative aspect to look at. So modern warfare has brought humanity, has placed humanity on the verge of, on the verge of extinction. This is true.
Verge?
On the verge of. On the verge of extinction means we're almost there. Really, if two nuclear powers decide to go to war, what happens to the whole planet? The whole planet will be lost overnight. Maybe in a few hours. There'll be mushroom clouds everywhere. So thanks to technology, we're capable of killing a lot more people than we could with swords and stones. Yeah? We can wipe out a whole nation using technology. So that's a very important aspect of it. Thank you, Julie. New generations of atomic bombs, new generations of nuclear weapons, new generations of biological weapons, dirty bombs, cluster weapons, and ammunition, modern warfare, drones. Now, technology is so advanced, we can kill without getting killed at all. Right now, drones, what are drones? These planes without pilots. Yeah? So the planes, there's no pilot. These small planes, now the United States has been using drones for a long time, for years now, in Afghanistan and Pakistan and Somalia and Yemen, in parts of Africa. So these manless, unmanned aerial vehicles, so it's called unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. Unmanned means nobody's in there. Aerial vehicles. They kill, and who's controlling them? Somebody sitting in Nevada, in the U.S. Yeah, in the desert in Nevada, in the U.S. In the state of Nevada, in the U.S.
Oh, Nevada.
Yeah. So, unmanned aerial vehicle, AE. I was sure something was wrong with this one. AE. Unmanned aerial vehicle, UAVs. UAVs. Unmanned aerial vehicles. These are drones, pilotless planes. So somebody's playing like video games, sitting in Nevada in the US. Oh, he's running. Huh, shoot. Boom. Another terrorist suspect is down. Unfortunately, 75 people also died in a wedding east of Afghanistan. Oh yeah, most of them women and children. That was collateral damage. Yeah? That's technology. Nice. I love technology. So, all in all, you should decide now. Has technology saved more lives than it has ruined?
I think it runs faster than sleep.
Yeah? Has it killed more or saved more lives? Has technology killed or saved more lives? Has technology saved or killed more lives? That's a question to ask. How many people were killed in Iraq? Very, very low, stupid estimates, but were around 100,000, 150, 200,000. But the real estimates were above 1 million people. So 1 million people were killed just in Iraq.
Difficult to save, but easy to kill. Just one.
Yeah, it's like
To save
especially when you're sitting in a helicopter and you're doing this, and it's like really these computer games. Because if you look at people, you don't see a person like that sitting there and killing like that. It's like those video games.
Yeah,
So you see some little
white
spots
silhouettes.
running, and you're doing this, and then it's actually like games, computer games. These simulation games. It's like that.
Do you know those video game series, Modern Warfare or Call of Duty?
Call of Duty.
The
Yes.
game. It has been funded by the U.S. government
Of course.
because it really
Of course.
vividly portrays war. Because it should attract people to come to the U.S. Army.
Yeah. Just to go fight in the U.S. Army. And killed for the cause, for the good cause of our beautiful corporations. Yeah, so that I can sit down here and drink Coca-Cola. And, right on that next flight, have my economy class and go exchange with like first class if there's room. So, anyways. So, then the decision is now yours to make. The jury is out on the pluses and minuses of technology, whether it's good to have technology or bad to have. Now, it's time for you guys to really think deep with yourselves, write a paragraph or something, talk about it. Now I want to hear whether or not you are on the technology camp or the anti-technology camp. Or you say, okay, part of it, the good parts are good, of course, and the bad parts are bad, of course. But you can talk about the good parts and the bad parts and say, all in all, personally, I'm in favor of, or I'm against, whatever. Decide! let me know.